What's going on, YouTube? My name is Ginge TCG or Chris, and today I'm back with another episode of the Battle VIPs podcast, joined by my amazing co-host Avery. What's going on, bro?
Nothing too much. You already know what's going on. We're talking about some cardboard. It's got some text on it. There's a couple of pictures on them. And if you listen to our opinions on said text and pictures, you might find yourself in the spot that we're going to be in next season.
That's what I'm saying, because we now got the Draw Pass TCG team fully up and running. The team roster is pretty much set in stone as of right now for the foreseeable future of guys making the push for Worlds with us. And the if you're watching from Spotify, we do have the YouTube channel where this episode is also up, as well as other videos posted by people on Draw Pass TCG, because we are a team not just founded on making Worlds, but also on building the community and people around us. So now there are going to be, at the time of this, there will have been one long form episode called Evolve Your Game, a series created by me where I'll be doing long form videos once a week, just trying to teach and do deep dives into different skills, as well as Cooking 101, a mini series hosted by or a long series of a bunch of shorts, I should say, where he's essentially doing the same thing but in short format. So, if your attention span is cooked, that's probably the series for you. And if your attention span is good enough to make it through a best of 350 minutes, well, I think mine might help you on some of the deeper dives. So definitely go check those out on the YouTube channel. But this is also up on Spotify if you're watching from YouTube too. So go check out this episode wherever you want, plus more from Draw Pass. And yeah, I was going to say, I got some housekeeping things to talk about with Draw Pass, but you kind of nailed it there, and I went into my whole advertisement, so I got nothing now.
Sponsored by yourself.
Yeah, pretty much. So is there anything else you need to talk about?
Nothing much, except for the fact that if you guys are one of those people that watches videos on 2x speed, you're not going to have to do that when you watch my shorts, because I talk really, really fast, and I get to the point very, very quickly.
Yes.
So, when those start rolling out, I'm going to try and record when I get the time to, because this week I'm casting 3-game nights. I'm going to find time to spend like an hour to just make some crazy images and just ramble on about decks for a little while. And hopefully you guys enjoy that. It's going to be, in a way, it's going to be funny, but it's also going to be informative. I'm going to make fun of a lot of you. If you play the deck that I'm talking about, I am going to make fun of you, and it is all in good heart, because I like you as a person.
But I think the breakdowns on the decks, I remember the Joltik box one we did as the test run for the format of yours. And when I say Cooking 101 and Evolve Your Game, those series that are already live at the time of this. Avery series will be coming very soon, and probably once a week, once every other week, if I had to imagine, as well. So there'll be a bunch of different series going on in the channel, which is cool, but I think Avery's, it's gonna make fun of certain decks in a way that also breaks it down very simply. So, for example, when Avery did the Joltik box one, if you haven't played Joltik box and you just see the memes about them eating crayons and whatnot, watching Avery's will give you a good chuckle, but also break down why the deck is functioning well, because they're simple, it works. He pretty much gets through 80% of the deck in 35 seconds. Not talking about every card in it, but just essentially how it wins all of its games. So if you just need a quick breakdown on a deck, that's also going to be an amazing series for that in a very humorous way.
Yeah, I couldn't have put that better myself, and I'm the one doing
it. Well, I watched the one that was there, so I feel like we're 1 for 1 on this. But yeah,
true.
With that, I think we're good to just jump in. Quick talk about the regional that just happened, and then jump into some Destined rivals. Yeah. All right, let's do it. So if you haven't seen, there was a regional that did just happen, and it is the Portland Origin Regional, which Henry Chow, as Avery said before this, lost his plot armor and came in second. And I said, if that's losing plot armor, I want a fraction of that, because that is insane that's now what our thoughts are becoming about this guy. It's actually nuts how solid a player he is, how amazing he's doing, that now him coming in second is he's done. He's lost it.
He's cooked.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw, they're the same 60. Both lists played. Both lists are cooking up the same exact 60. Gardevoir deck, I don't think there's anything too special going on there that we necessarily need to do.
Average Gardevoir nonsense.
Yep, we've done a lot of talks about Gardevoir in the past. I would say at this point, watch any of our other episodes if you need a bit of a Gardevoir breakdown or something like that, why it's doing well, what it's well positioned into. I don't think this deck is disappearing and Destined Rivals. I think just so people know where we're going with today's episode, we're gonna spend a little time on the Portland Regional, and then move to Destined Rivals because this is gonna be the format for the start of the 2025-2026 season, as well as the format for Worlds. So I think putting a bit of an emphasis on that a week before live, 2 weeks before it's out in real life, and then 3 or 4 weeks out before it's out for tournaments, I think is a safer bit. Like it gives people time to order cards, think about what decks are going to do well if they want cards. We could talk about some of the cards on our buy list that we're shooting for. So, yeah, we'll spend a little time talking there. I don't think Guardy needs much more said today. Deal with it. Like, it's going to be there for Destined Rivals.
Yep.
Get ready to deal with more of it.
If you want to counter Guardy, you lose the Pult. If you counter Pult, you lose the Guardy. Pick your poison.
Yeah, pretty much. It really just comes down to which won a regional. Right now, Guardy won a regional. Maybe next tournament, Guardy has a little bit higher of a meta share than Pult. I mean, even then, it depends what Pult you're talking about. Like, we're already looking at the top 16 here, and you can see that there's regular Dragapult, Dragapult Dusknoir, Dragapult Pidgeot, and then also Dragapult Charizard, all in the top 16. And I'm sure if we scroll down far enough, we could find a
Goldengo
Dragapult. Yep. Yeah, so it's like, there's Pult in everything.
There it is.
Yeah, past it somewhere. It's here, I don't know, right there, 70th. Yeah, I feel like that and Raging Bolt, those 3 decks are going to be the ones that are really coming into the Destined Rivals format that are going to be very, very strong, very well positioned. So I would say, like, if you need a bit more of a breakdown on those, pretty much every other episode of this podcast, those have come up in some way, shape, or form, as well as the breakdown. I don't think their lists have changed too much. I think Dragapult, as we have now seen, is the most versatile, but even still, Dragapults, and there's not much you could do about it.
You just got to deal with it.
Yeah.
Just like Gardevoir. Just deal with it.
Yeah. I think the one list I do kind of want to look at right now, just a little bit deeper, before Destined Rivals, if you don't have anything else too, is this Toedscruel list that was able to sneak its way into the top 16, if I wasn't mistaken, before I just clicked past. But how do you feel about this? Take me through it. Where do you think the problem, strengths, like what do you see when you're looking at this Toedscruel list? Because I've been playing Toedscruel for a long time, so I have my own formed opinions about this specific list.
I like Toedscruel as a card. I think that denying your opponent from being able to retrieve certain things is a very, very big part of being able to control the sort of game flow.
Yeah.
I like the idea of playing Latias because there's a lot of basics in this deck. If your Teal Mask Ogrepon gets bossed up and they can't quite hit the KO, that's not a problem for you. When you play Iron Leaves, you attach all your energy to it. That's just going to be sitting in the active spot after you hit for a big KO on something like a Zoroark EX. That's going to neglect the retreat cost. Even though it is one energy with 12, and you need almost all of them to be able to Teal Dance as many times as possible to boost your energy, that's going to be a big help to you. And Toedscruel's attack is very, very solid, which does more damage for each grass Pokemon with energy on it on your bench. That's also a very big factor. You can hit really big numbers really fast if you go ahead and take out all your Teal Mask Ogrepons, which you're going to be able to. You play 8 copies of search cards. You play 4 Energy Switch to sort of move it all around just in case you get a couple on the Teal Mask Ogrepon. You use 2 Teal Dances and you get another one, you Teal Dance. And then you can move it over to the one that already has 2 on it, and then you can swing for KOs on a lot of Dark Pokemon. There's a lot that you can really do with this. It's a big box type of deck. Your Squawk ability allows you to get a lot of consistency in the early game with discarding a whole ton of cards and getting you through.
Huge.
Especially if you're going for a Squawk.
Yeah. If you go second, I really don't think you ever need to Squawk from my experience. But going first, Nest Ball for Squawk to make sure you're getting multiple Toedscruels down, so that turn 2 you could get a Toedscruel EX and a single prize Toedscruel, I think is like probably the best thing about playing the version of Squawk.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I also am really big a fan of the Prime Catcher in this build specifically. Yeah. Now, there are a couple of other aspects that you might be able to argue for checking in, like Maximum Belt, just in case your Toedscruel isn't hitting for quite the number you want it to. But when it comes to a thing like Prime Catcher, you can always bring up something that you want, and you could promote something like a Pheasantipity and just retreat it immediately, and things like that. The Latias is here to allow you to do a lot of plays with the Prime Catcher, and that's awesome. I like the 4-count research, 3-count Iono. Brings me back to the 4 Sycamore, 3N route back in the day. That was your basic draw support.
And this is no different. 4-3-2 with the boss. Yep. I mean, this goes straight down to basics with it, honestly.
Absolutely, and it's all because of the little menace right next to Professor's research that people are still crying about on Twitter for literally no reason. Pokemon has acknowledged the Badoo problem, quote-unquote problem, by printing you a insane amount of supporters that deal with you not being able to rare candy stage 2, 8 billion damage on your second turn, just deal with it. I know it's yucky, all right? I understand stage 1s are kind of scary for a lot of people. They don't like them very much.
Oh, yeah.
But just evolve from them into your stage 2. And one thing that is very important in this deck is the Mew EX, which allows you to copy a lot of attacks and just be able to do whatever you really got to do. I like the list a lot. I like the energy switch just in case you want to power up your Mew. I like the energy switch just in case you want to sort of move the energy off of Iron Leaves, which you're going to have to promote Iron Leaves. And I don't think it says as many. I think it's all the energy, right?
No, I think you can choose how much. We'll double check here.
You can move any amount. Okay.
Any amount, yeah. So you could choose how much. You don't ever need more than 3. I think the best thing I liked from your breakdown, at first it was something I really didn't like about this list, and then I have to sneeze. Oh my gosh. Whatever, it'll pass. Something that nope, I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna sneeze in the next minute. Just now because it's bothering me. The Latias I did not like originally because I'm like, that's just such a big 2-prize liability. But then I'm like, I guess if you have Squawk and Fez, you really don't care about a 2-prize liability. It's the same HP as like, Ogre Pawn. It's whatever, it's there. But then I was thinking about that retreating aspect. A lot of times you have to retreat an Ogre Pawn that has 1 energy when something gets KO'd. There it is. I knew it was coming. Thank you. What do you call it? Like, a lot of times you have to retreat the Ogre Pawn, which has 1 energy, and then you have to try to Teal Dance the second one onto it, but then that energy that you could have Teal Dance could have gone to another Ogre Pawn, and it kind of limits your energy. So I feel like even though you have the liability of a 2-prize Pokemon, it's not any bigger of a liability than you already naturally have because you already play an insane amount of Ogre Pawn. You already have an insane amount of Fez. So now you're able to conserve your energy so much better. And you said that for a second doing your breakdown, and I just wanted to bring so much more attention to that because I think that's actually one of the most clutch cards in this deck. We finally have a Toad School now with, we don't need the Spore one that could put our opponent's Regidrago V or V Star to sleep if we're going second. Like, we actually can afford to play the single prize Toad School with 60 HP. That's a 1 retreat cost because Toad School EX can protect it from Dragapult, but more importantly, we can retreat pivot anything we need for free. And that really, really helps this deck a lot, especially when you have such a big prize liability naturally in play. And if your opponent bumps your Area 0, you just smack it back. And then you could rod back your Latias if you need it that bad. That's an easy Pokemon to get rid of off Area 0. So I really, really like that. Iron Leaves is surprisingly the one Pokemon I really question in this deck. I really don't know if Iron Leaves is totally necessary. I mean, I guess, it's an early game, swing 180, kind of hard attacker. Kind of swing hard attacker, that's kind of nice, but there's not many dark Pokemon in the format. I mean, Charizard's making a little bit of a comeback, but I don't know if it's enough to justify Iron Leaves. If you just set up 1 Ogre Pawn EX, you're one-shotting Charizard. So, to me, it's like, I never truly understood where this Iron Leaves finds its spot in this deck. I feel like a 3rd Rod it's just as valuable. 4th Iono, a 3rd Boss, I feel like all of those are solid options. I think if you're looking at a different A spec, you go Legacy Energy, make a Toad School EX a single prizer, and if you do that, then maybe you cut Iron Leaves for Boss. I think that could be like a fun way to run into. I don't know, I have to play around with it. I definitely want to get a video on this deck out before Destined Rivals comes out, just because I want to play it in like this current format. I think that would be a lot of fun. But yeah, no, definitely a solid list to see. I'm super, super happy it did so well. I have been sitting on Toad Scroll. If you know the Ginge TCG channel, I think this is the deck I've made the most videos on, actually. It's like this or Sinistra for some reason. I keep revisiting these because they're so much fun. They're so good and they just click. Like, I don't know. Grass attackers, man, they work.
Yeah, and I really like the point that you brought up that Iron Leaves isn't ultimately entirely necessary because there's
it's like, I don't know.
You're hitting for weakness, cool, but there's also
your
every
natural
other
engine
in the deck.
Yeah, like you need that weakness. We're not playing Joltik Box. You have Ogre Pawn. Just use your Ogre Pawn. Like, that Iron Leaves, maybe there's something I'm missing and it's going over my head. And if there is, please comment down below because I love Toad Scroll. I want to play it as highly competitive as possible. I totally would play a list like this. Where is this Iron Leaves useful? It's not like it does an extra effect that can now one-shot Pikachu EX. If it was like, it even confuses your opponent. So now Pikachu EX has to flip through that. I'd be like, oh no, you play the Iron Leaves because we're worried about Joltik Box right now. Like, that's a must. But it's like, I don't even know where that comes. You know what I mean? Like, it's bringing, I feel like nothing else. It's bringing a switch out. We have Latias. Why do we need a switch out? Like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I have a one of Iron Leaves EX. It's not even like I won't just swallow my 50-cent copium and order the card. I have a one of 4 Toadscroll. I'd never use it. Like, I don't know. I have to see. I have to play it. I'm sure it'll hit me in the middle of a match when I'm not playing it. Why play Iron Leaves? But for now, I definitely wanted to highlight this list. And the person who played it, let me go back to here. Who piloted this deck and took it? Ray Chen. Thank you for getting top 16 with Toadscroll. From the Draw Pass team, we appreciate you.
On everything.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to cover, or are we just jumping into Destined Rivals at this point?
I mean, I guess the Flareon box being very popular is something that we could speak about for a few minutes.
No, do your thing, man, and then I'm down to jump, so just run us through.
I didn't really think Flareon was going to be very competitive when it first came out, because the attacks were sort of underwhelming, but Burning Charge is also a very, very solid attack that lets you attach energy. It's an energy accelerant, and it hits for an okay amount of damage. But the whole point was, when people first started playing it, they were playing it with Jolteon. To attach the energy to Jolteon and then swing, and then you would like sort of pivot back and forth. But the way it's sort of evolving now, you play it with Sylveon and Umbreon. It's just a very, very solid deck overall. Is it going to win you a regional? Probably not. I think that the HP is a little low. The amount of energy that you have to play can get a little bit finicky with your consistency. You play a whole lot of one-ofs. If you can't draw the right one, it's not like you have a Pidgeot engine to grab whatever supporter you need if you need that turn.
Well, you have Noctowl, so I think like that actually might be still there in this deck. I think that's the one thing it's kind of going for is you have a single prize Pidgeot essentially in Noctowl. You know, okay, you can only use it once when you evolve, but if you get like 3 of them down, you're hoping to close out the game, and those 3 Noctowl turns, like I could see, you know, the similarities between Noctowl and Pidgeot.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like maybe there could be a little bit more going on with this deck to sort of propel it a little bit further.
Yeah.
Because this is like a specialty deck. Like, this is one of those, you have to main this deck if you're going to get competitive. You can't just pick this up one day and go to a regional with like some okay knowledge of the build and,
I mean, look at this thing, dude. This is a GLC list. You will never catch me memorizing counts in this deck. I'm so okay. I'm so good. Like I'm all right.
I'm all right. I don't got to worry about that.
One-ofs everything. I do not feel like prize checking for this. I'm all right. Give me my 4. Give me Toadscroll. 4. I play 4 or 3 of literally every card in the deck except for 2 balls, 1 catcher. Like that's so much easier to count and prize check for. And I don't know. I mean, I'm with you on EV Box. I think, and if you don't mind me even using this as a segue into Destined Rivals, what does this deck do when Watchtower comes out and now all normal Pokemon have abilities? Now Eevee can't evolve turn 1. Now your Noctowl doesn't work, period. It's like, what do we do from there? Fan Rotom doesn't work. You know, like I feel like when that drops, Flareon Box takes probably the biggest hit. Even though other decks rely on a lot of normal abilities, I think one of the best things about Flareon Box is you could dodge the donk and get set up so easily because you don't even need Ultra Balls. Your Eevee could just evolve instantly, you know, which is like really cool. And I think when you take out that ability with the Stadium, you know, it's like, you know, there's only 2 Stadiums in this list, and if you don't have Noctowl, it's a guarantee you one of them. How do you get out of that? So yeah, I think if we're talking about Destined Rivals cards, that is something that I definitely worry about for the EV Box. And I'm trying to think if any of ours that we wanted to talk about actually play the oh, can I not like pivot between pictures here? Do I have to pull them all up? I think I do. Okay, let's just re-pull them up. This Mewtwo might no, because it plays the Discard Stadium one. That's right. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember. I was going to say, if this one doesn't, I don't think any of the lists we have do. None of them. Where is my arrows? Can I get... There we go. Yeah, nothing does. Nothing here. But there's a lot of fun lists, and I'm trying to think of one that is definitely... Oh, Guardy, Dragapult. Those are the 2 that are definitely playing Watchtower, shutting down normal abilities.
Oh, hands down.
Yeah, because Guardy already needs something to bump Jamming Tower, and they don't play any normal Pokemon that have abilities, and Dragapult plays a one of Jamming Tower just to deal with Guardian. Now if they could shut down the rest of the meta like Raging Bolt, a huge counter to the deck, yeah, that's a must. So, you know, I feel like those 2 decks, dealing with those playing Team Rocket's Watchtower, if you don't know, it's a Stadium that's coming out in Destined Rivals, shuts down all... It makes any colorless Pokemon have no abilities. So, you know, it's something worth keeping in mind.
My Pidgeots are gone.
Yep. Pidgeot,
I'm gonna have to unsleeve them.
Noctowl, Fan Rotom. Pretty much every engine in the game right now, gone. Instantly. if that stadium is put down. There's going to need to be huge outs to it. That's why people are trying to bring back slacking, because you turn off slacking's EX's ability, where it can only attack if
then you're swinging 280.
Play. Yeah, you're just swinging 280 with the power glass attached. You're swinging 280 every turn, no hindrance. Like, that's nuts. Boomerang energy or power glass get you there. So yeah, no, definitely an archetype worth looking into if you're trying to get a fun kind of rogue little Team Rocket's disruptive deck going. Team Rocket's Watchtower disruptive deck, I think that would be the one.
Definitely. You could also like stack up. Like for me, if I'm gonna play Zard, I'm probably gonna run like 3 Artisan, just to keep up with the Watchtowers. Or you can also play Team Rocket Stadium, because Team Rocket's supporters are very, very good. You don't specifically need Team Rocket's Pokemon to use most of them. Giovanni's just Guzma.
Yeah.
You can draw until you have like 5 into your hand, or is it 8? It's one of those two. And then you can just draw 2 more cards.
Pokemon in play, though.
Yeah.
Only Team Rocket's Pokemon in play to use that stadium. That's why I like having this Porygon list up. This is, I think, going to be one of the most fun decks that comes out in the Destined Rival set, is this Team Rocket's Porygon, because you get access to every goated Team Rocket's supporter. You get access to insane draw power off the stadium that comes out. A lot of these cards are all of them are in Japanese, because it's not technically out on limit list yet, but I do know the translations for most of them, just testing this. The Porygon Z has Reconstitute, so you discard 2. Its attack does 20 damage for each Team Rocket supporter in your discard pile. So when you max everything out, you could easily swing over 300, because we have 5 full counts of Team Rocket supporters. One of them you could use on your first turn and get 3 Team Rocket's basic Pokemon on your bench. So it's like you already have a naturally built turn 1 supporter for going first. You could evolve so easily with a couple rare candies, because like you said, you could shuffle up until you have 8, or you shuffle your hand into your deck, draw up until you have 8, or you just draw cards until you have 8. And there's another one, if you get knocked out, you draw 5, your opponent draws 3, so you've got better Iono. In this deck, it's a single prize deck. You got Mimikyu to copy Dragapult EX. The Articuno prevents damage counters going to your bench, so you could just shut down, the KOs. Oh, that's 60 HP. Porygon is a liability. No, it's not. Play Articuno, and then figure it out like you're fine. And if you're like, oh my god, but Cornerstone Ogerpon, it instantly beats this deck. No, it doesn't. You let it take the first prize card on whatever you want. Your down 1 prize card. Porygon 2 has the same exact attack as Porygon Z. So you just get all your supporters in your discard pile, and you just one-shot Ogerpon with your stage 1. So it's like, this deck is nuts.
Very, very solid. Definitely worth playing if you're thinking about it.
Oh yeah. This is one I'll probably look into ordering. I don't know about immediately. I definitely want to wait for the prices to drop on, because I have to order pretty much every card in the deck. I mean, this is all.
Yeah.
And it's not that any card is going to be worth a lot here, but I mean, it definitely could add up quick. I luckily, from my pre-release, I actually did get 4 copies of Team Rocket's Energy, whatever the energy was called again. So I do have that, and the Mimikyu, and Articuno. So between those, I think that helps a good bit. So yeah, that's definitely one cool deck for some of the rogue players to look into. And I think this is the other deck that people are. It's going to see the biggest play rate at NAIC from Destined Rivals, in my opinion. I think everyone is looking forward to playing Ethan's Typhlosion. And this is currently the list I've cooked up to talk about today. Do you know how Ethan's Typhlosion works? Have you seen this thing?
I know it does 70 for, or is it 70?
60 for each.
60, yeah.
Yep.
In your discard pile, which is really good. I think that it swings really hard. It's a stage 2, 170 HP, so that's sort of on the back end of HP.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when you're swinging as hard as you are with Typhlosion, it's not really going to matter. You're going to have Defiance Man, and you're going to have Gravity Mountain just fix up that math very, very easily. Shaman is going to be there. Listen, I think Shaman is all right. I think that people praising this card for being the savior of the format, I don't really see it.
I think it's amazing for single prize decks. Or heavy evolving decks. It only is a bench barrier for non-rule box Pokemon. So Terra gets naturally protected, non-rule box gets protected. But if we're playing something that's like Toedscruel, it's like, it doesn't protect Toedscruel. I guess it protects my Toadschools, but like, would I play it? Like, I don't know. I think it's something like this. You could snape your Quillavas, which gets you your Ethan's Adventures. And when there's Ogerpon, there's Screamtails, and the single prize Raging Bolt in the format, I think Shaman's okay. I think Shaman's pretty good. It's a specific deck. I don't think we throw it in everything. I just think there's specific decks we need to throw it in, and this is definitely one of them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Shaman isn't going to be the end-all be-all to the format if you're playing Dragapult. It's not a mana fee. Is a really good point.
Yeah.
So I think that cool the jets a little bit. I don't think that this is going to save your decks very much.
Yeah.
If you like playing single prize decks, then yeah. I mean, if you're playing something like a Roaring Moon Ancient Box, Shaman's going to be a really good pick for you.
Roaring Moon is a single prize deck. I don't think it's necessary at all. Okay, if you snipe a Dunsparce, dog, I'm running you over with Roaring Moon. My Roaring Moon is 140 HP. I dodge Water Pond, I dodge N-Star Manitan, and I dodge a Raging Bolt unless you have way too many energy on it, and I take it back out with a single prize Pokemon. Like, I think that's actually a deck where it really doesn't matter. You know, okay, you Scream Tails to take out my Dunsparce. Oh no, if you try to take out the Dunsparce, or I'm worried about it, I'll just use the ability and draw 3 cards. You know, take it out of play. You know, like, there's options for that. I think something like this, specifically where Quilava can get KO'd by Ogre Pond, or Water Pond, Enstar Manitan, Single Prize Raging Bolt, and Scream Tails very easily, and that is a key part to getting Ethan's Adventure in the discard pile. Now we play Shaman. Because now we need Shaman to guarantee our Quilavas can live long enough to either A, get evolved, or B, get a swing for max damage. So that's what I mean. It's like, there's some decks, single prize evolving, where this is going to be crucial. And there's others where I feel like people think it is immediately. And I'm not trying to like shame you saying, oh, you thought it was amazing in Ancient Box. I actually think that's one where if you look at the numbers, you don't need it. Like, you're fine. But yeah, I think that's why, again, Shaman's not Mana Feed. There's no need. We don't have a insane bench attacker like Rapid Strike Urshifu in the format that does too much damage to the bench too quickly. Then I would say every deck needs Shaman. But until a deck like that comes out, we're fine without Shaman and probably half the decks people wanted in.
Yeah, we were getting a little, you got a little too excited.
Yeah.
And then you realized it wasn't all that.
We needed a bench barrier, and I think this is a healthy bench barrier. It doesn't stop every snipe deck. It just helps the ones that need that little extra bit of protection, and it's a little bit difficult to search out, which I'm never, like, it makes me upset when I play it sometimes, but then I'm like, I'm happy my opponent has to put a little bit more. They can't just buddy Paw in this thing and play. They need to use their Nest Ball. They need to use their Artisan Search, because it has 80 HP. It's just too much to be perfect. Like, I don't mind that. I think that's okay.
Yeah, I think it's just it's one of the cards that is going to be in the deck. It's not the Psyduck either that people are begging for.
That's a big one. Us not getting Psyduck in the set, I think, is actually really problematic. I actually really don't like that Pokemon or TCPI hasn't put Psyduck in. That changes the entire Japan to American format, or rest of the world format, I should say, not just American. We're just recording from America, but without Psyduck, Dragapult Dusknoir stays insane, and in Japan, that deck took a huge hit because Psyduck shuts down just Dusknoir. And even though that might not sound like a lot of changes, that actually drastically changes, I think, what our formats are going to look like. Like, Typhlosion does amazing in Japan. There's also really not many Dusknoirs floating around in some of the top lists in Japan, whereas in America, or in the rest of the world, they'll stay fine, you know? Like, there's no Psyduck to shut it off, so I think that's the basic Pokemon disclusion that's really going to hurt our format.
Yeah, Charizard is going to still be able to take advantage of Dusknoir. It's always been able to, but it's only going to get worse. Yeah, you can't play Charizard with Pidgeot as much anymore because of the Watchtower, but you don't really need that because a lot of Zard lists are so streamlined nowadays to the point to where, like, you're using Noctowl and you play a lot of stadiums to get around the Watchtower.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I think that there's a lot of things that are going to be going on in the format very, very soon. And I really just think that, like, if Psyduck was in the set, we would have seen a vast difference in the way people are trying out decks now. And just because of that small little decision they made, we're not going to be seeing Psyduck until, what, September?
Yeah. It's like if you took Badoo out of the format, or if Badoo was never included. I'd say it's pretty much like the same thing. Like, I think Psyduck has as big an impact as Badoo on the format. You know, it's like, it's a one-of in a lot of decks, and taking it out, it's like, it's just one card in the decks. Does it change that much? Yeah. Changes everything, actually, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's the domino effect from that little dumb duck not being in this format is going to change every outcome of Worlds and NAIC. So, yeah.
I think I got confused on what set it was supposed to be in.
No,
Wanted one in the wrong one.
I got a headache. Just showed up in the wrong set by accident. I hope when Psyduck is printed for, like, the rest of the world, Pokemon releases a message of something like that. Oh, sorry, Psyduck got confused and ended up in the wrong set. Should have been here 3 months ago. Something ridiculous like that.
I'd forgive them for that.
Yeah, no, that would be hilarious. Jumping into the next deck, though, from Distant Rivals, that should be I feel like worth talking about. This is the one you wanted to throw up there, so please, like, tell me about Cynthia's Garchomp.
Cynthia's Garchomp is going to be a very fun deck until Mega Lucario comes out, and it is literally just the better card. Cynthia's Garchomp, the first attack hits pretty hard, and you accelerate 2 fighting energy from the discard pile to your Pokemon. That's already insane enough, but the second attack doing, I can't really see the number on your screen right there, because
I believe.
260, yeah. And then you discard the energy attached. Like, yeah, that doesn't seem like too crazy, but if you already hit with the first attack, you have a decent amount of chance of being able to get that energy right back. It's such a solid card. The Cynthia's Gabite with the ability, you can search your deck for Cynthia's Pokemon and put it into your hand. That's already really, really good. And the ability of using Monkey Dory and Toadscroll to sort of deny your opponent from being able to retrieve things. Your ability to use, sorry, I tapped out into the wrong thing.
Damage counter spread with Monkey Dory.
Not even that, the Roserade, just adding more damage to your Cynthia's Pokemon is really, really good. That's going to be very, very solid for a deck like this. That doesn't swing as hard as you want it to, but that gets you there.
I'm pretty sure
that'll add 30.
Roserade, Monkey Dory, KO, and Dragapult. That's it.
Yep, and then you have the Cynthia's Charm, which does even more for you. The Artisan to be able to grab your Roselias, your Badoos, your Monkey Dories exclusively are going to be very, very solid. Moving that damage around is going to be good for you. And just overall, this list is very solid. You have Crispin to be able to grab the...
Did you read the Charm? Plus 70 to Cynthia's Pokemon. Why?
It's insane.
What? Who said this is fine? That is ridiculous. That's insane.
I actually said this. They called me exclusively on my phone. And I was like, yo.
Word.
Yeah.
And he said, no, print that actually. Like, let me draw that up.
Yeah, please. I want to play this deck. So yeah, Cynthia is going to be a problem for a while.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did say that Mega Lucario is the better card because it literally does like sort of the same exact thing.
It is a stage.
But yeah, but it's a 3-prizer, and you were going to be taking massive knockouts on the Lucario. But overall, until the Lucario gets printed and we see how that shakes up the format, you are going to have a lot of fun with the Cynthia deck. Cynthia has been she was very, very good when they first started doing the Trainers Pokemon, actually. I think I played against you with Cynthia's Garchomp a while ago. I couldn't find the energy, that was the problem. But it was still very, very popular back then. And it's good to see that the Trainers Pokemon have come back as not only a mechanic / gimmick, but to actually be more relevant now than they were then. It's almost like every single Trainers Pokemon is getting a little bit of spotlight, even if it's not the greatest. Yeah. They're still there. They're still here. They're still able to at least do something.
A lot more than others. Yeah. Like I think Steven's Metagross. I was talking to I think it was Bluestone or Chef Husky about this, but I think with Steven's Metagross, it's like that's probably functionally like the worst trainer Pokemon set thing we're getting out of Destined Rivals. But I think what's important to know, or like my take on that, is I feel like that's just going to evolve into something like Dialga V-Star. It's way too good to be useless forever. Or like Regidrago V-Star. Like right now, it's pretty bad. Like if you want to play Steven's Metagross, you should just play Marnie's Grimmsnarl, which we'll talk about in a little bit, because that's another deck we'll be covering. But I think there is going to be another partner Pokemon that will give either Psychic or Metal, which will crack out Steven's Metagross, and I'm excited to see what that Pokemon is. I think we've seen a couple from Black and White that I've been looking into. Like I think Jellicent is a Pokemon it could accelerate energy to, so you could attack possibly sooner than Gardevoir EX without damaging your own Jellicent. I think that's a really fun way to look at Metagross, because then you either have to deal with like a 340 HP stage 2 or a 270 HP Pokemon in the active spot that shuts down items and tools. It's like neither are ideal. Like I think that's a fun way. I don't know. I think most of them though, it's like they're good enough that they're going to be solid at some point.
Exactly, and it was sort of like the same thing with Regidrago V-Star when it dropped.
Yes,
that card was just sitting in bulk binders for the longest, and then all of a sudden, just a couple of sets came out, and that card literally ruined the entire game.
And it just won everything, and now we see expanded tournament where it got like 100 out of the top 101 or something dumb. Like
there was like 3 people that played something different, and those 3 people are my heroes.
No, actually, and I think Steven's Metagross, that's what I'm trying to say about all the Trainers Pokemon. I feel feel like all of them are strong enough that at some point something should hopefully come out that should get them pretty powerful. You know, right now I think Cynthia's going to be more in the rogue category, but a very, very strong rogue deck. And something definitely worth looking into, yeah.
And I'm excited to see what they do with that, because
yeah, for sure.
I was really kind of upset a little bit though that they didn't say that like they would release other trainers Pokemon as more sets came out.
Yeah.
Like imagine if they came out with like a new ends playing like in a set or two that was actually decent. Like that could be
so
fun,
tough,
but
yeah.
with them being
trainers Pokemon.
Yeah.
2-3 sets of it and then switch to Megas. I was hoping there'd be a little more. There's a lot of other trainers in the universe that they could have created some Pokemon for. I don't know.
But I think that Scarlet and Violet's coming to an end very, very soon. I think that the Mega set is going to be like the last set until we get like the big, like all Megas Pokemon set, which is going to be
I don't know if that was
absolutely.
actually confirmed though, was it? The all Megas, or was that just a picture people used with every Mega? I don't think Pokemon, because I was digging through. I remember you sending me that tweet where it was like that one image, right, of every Mega Pokemon.
Yeah, I think it's floating around. I'm not sure if it's confirmed, but
no, yeah, the
take
image
that with a grain of
was
salt.
used, but there wasn't anything saying that every Mega would be used. They just used a picture with every Mega.
It might be like every Mega Pokemon that was released previously, so things like Rayquaza, Audino, stuff like that, maybe,
I'm
or
hoping for Heracross, Pinsir, and like I'm hoping for some of the slept-on Megas. Like I don't need Mega Lopunny. I want Mega Heracross to have a good card. Like you know what I mean? Like I want.
You just concerned a whole lot of people in the Pokemon community with that statement.
Why, dude? I don't need a Mega Lopunny. I don't need people freaking out over this. Very specific Pokemon that people take out of proportion. We don't need that card. That's fine. I'm okay without that.
I think Lopunny's proportions are exactly what I'm referencing here.
Yeah, and I'm trying to say that does not need to be printed on shiny cardboard for some weird people out there, dog. We need shiny Heracross we need Heracross on some shiny cardboard to play. Like that, we need more.
We had a Mega Heracross, and that thing was horrible.
I want a good one.
A good Mega Heracross. Give us something
good Heracross. Like I want some of those, man. I also just like bug Pokemon. Scizor, Heracross, Pinsir, Scyther. Like some of those are my favorite Pokemon. Shuckle is literally my favorite Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the bug Pokemon kind of just speak to me.
Mega Shuckle. Do it now.
Yo, I'd go nuts.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. Jump into this though. I know this was another deck you were looking into, and honestly, one I think I kept sleeping on. I just keep forgetting this exists. This deck is nuts.
Yeah, so we're going to be looking at right now Team Rocket's Mewtwo.
Yeah.
So already off the bat, you have Team Rocket's Mimikyu, which can copy the attack of a Terra Pokemon. It's Psychic. If you play it with something like a Lily's Clefairy, which this list doesn't do, but a couple of other lists I've seen do play with the Lily's Clefairy, to be able to just one-shot Dragapult almost immediately and then be able to place the damage counters, that's huge.
Yeah.
Also being able to copy things like Terra Box. Like if you can boss up a Sylveon, you can use a Sylveon's attack with Team Rocket's Mimikyu.
Copy Waterpond.
There's a whole... Yeah, there you go. Sob. Just tell them to cope about it. There's a whole lot of things that you can do with that Mimikyu because Terra Pokemon are so relevant.
Yeah.
In the format and everything. Team Rocket's Mewtwo was a card that like a lot of people weren't really looking at too bad, but because of the ability, it's like you can't attack unless you have 4 or more Team Rocket's Pokemon in play. But if you're gonna play Team Rocket's Mewtwo, you're going to be playing a good amount of Team Rocket's Pokemon.
Play all Team
and then
Rocket's
deletions.
Pokemon like this. You'll get them in play. If you're playing the game, you could use Mewtwo in a deck like this, and I think that's what I like. And Spidops is so strong as a single presence attacker.
Spidops with the ability allows you to use this ability once per turn.
Yes.
Attach an energy card, basic energy card from your discard pile to the Spidops, which sort of synergizes with Team Rocket's Mewtwo, which for 160, you do 60 more damage for each energy you discard from your bench Pokemon. So you can discard 2 grass energy off of Spidops, get them right back, and then you basically don't have to discard anything, and you're hitting for max 280, which is going to not only it's sort of like the Mewtwo EX that we had in I forget what set it was, Next Destinies in black and white, where it was just Mewtwo EX versus Mewtwo EX the entire time.
Yeah.
And like that's sort of what this whole deck was. I think it's sort of a reference to that in a way, because it just one-shot each other. But it's Team Rocket's Mewtwo isn't the greatest deck in Destined Rivals. It's going to be fun, definitely a rogue deck, but probably something you're going to play more.
Of it will be so strong too. I think that's going to be one of the main speaking points of this deck is like if you could establish your board, you just play off the board. You know, like whatever's in your hand is fine. If you just have a couple Spite Ups and enough Pokemon to use Mewtwo, you're fine. You could do your thing. You know, it's can your opponent keep pace with that? You know, there are going to be some situations you might miss a huge KO on a Pokemon that's too tanky, and that's where I think this deck falls a little bit short. You know, Defiance Band doesn't totally get you there. If you're trying to push like 230, 330, 320, you know, that could be hard. But I mean, the consistency in setting up off the board is always a big point, and this deck definitely does that.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know what the Murkrow does, that second attack does a solid 30, but
yeah,
you know,
Torment,
you get to use one of your opponent's attacks, and they can't use that attack.
Let's
say active Pokemon.
Whole game in a pre-release. I'm not gonna lie.
Exactly.
Because so
like,
many
hey, that
Pokemon
Phantom
cards
Dive
today just have one attack. So if you could, like, I think actually that card could single-handedly bring back certain control archetypes that we haven't seen since Mewtwo v Union, and was it more Pekko that also had Torment for 30 damage? And it's the same thing. It's just you're just limiting almost your opponent's energy, because if you play an energy disruption deck with something like Torment, this is actually something I'm going to be working on for a control-ish type archetype, is like if you look at like Dragapult with like Phantom Dive. Now that one's hard because it does have Jet Headbutt too, so let's pick another one. Something like Gardevoir EX, there's only one attack.
But Jet Headbutt doesn't one-shot Murkrow.
There's only one attack. Well, yes, this is true, but you're trying to stop attacking, period, which is annoying. Like, they still can. But in a deck like Dragapult, you know what, that's fine. You're right. It doesn't one-shot Murkrow, whatever. You play Crushing Hammers. You play, you know, cards like that limit energy, even Giovanni's Charisma, and then you shut down said attacks. The deck gets very annoying very quick, and you try to run your opponent out of energy when you're playing an attack lock deck like this. So I think that's a really fun way to look at, you know, it's a Murkrow archetype on its own. But as a one-of in a deck like this, it buys you huge time. Your opponent's playing Badoo, just say, hey, you can't item lock me. You know, like, nope, I want my items next turn.
I'm using them next turn, whether you like it or not.
Yep, I'm taking Allegra. This next turn is mine.
I will play the video game.
Yep. So, you know, I think that's a really fun one-of in this deck, and I think we might start to see some control archetypes that could get to use on Murkrow a little bit more.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the Articuno. Prevent all effects of opponents' attacks done to your basic Team Rocket Pokemon.
I think we did on the Porygon video. It was the same thing. You know, prevent your Tarantulas from dying, or however you say their names, for Spite Ops, and prevent your Porygons from dying in Porygon Z. It's the same. It's the perfect card to deal with Dragapult, since many of their basics have pretty low HP.
Yep, and then the Team Rocket Zapdos, that first attack does 30, and you can move energy around, which is going to be very good also for control archetypes.
Oh,
so if you're a control player, you're salivating at this idea.
Oh, yeah.
And I completely cannot blame you.
No, definitely going to be a fun combo for sure to look into. And I think that brings us down to, the last Destined Rivals deck that we kind of got lined up for y'all.
Yep, so for those of you who have played on the Pokemon TCG Live Ladder, because the developer decided that it would be a great idea to release this early, you have Marnie's Grimmsnarl, which the first two aren't really anything to really look at all. But the Grimmsnarl allows you to accelerate 5 Dark Energy from your deck to your Marnie's Pokemon in any way you like. You just pile them on the Grimmsnarl and you have a good day. Yep. The Monkey Dory is there just to sort of move the energy around a little bit. If you draw into it, you can move those damage counters around because you are playing Frostlass, which during the game will damage your Grimmsnarl, but doesn't really matter. You're basically taking no damage because you have Monkey Dory. And if you fill up your bunch of Monkey Dory, you're never going to have that problem. 2 Badoo to sort of lock out your opponent for just a little bit longer. If they thought dealing with 1 was tough, have fun dealing with 2. If your opponent's playing Monkey Dory, then you're probably going to be a little bit more hesitant.
This deck does not lose Monkey Dory Wars because Grimmsnarl also does bench damage. So you can overwhelm your opponent's Monkey Dory so easily. They only need 2 Monkey Dory in play and they'll be fine. Because between Frostlass putting damage on you, assuming like I'm playing you and I'm playing Marnie's Grimmsnarl, my Frostlass is going to damage your Monkey Dory, my Monkey Dories are going to damage your Monkey Dories, and my Grimmsnarl is going to damage your Monkey Dories. You might have 1 or 2 Monkey Dories to put 60 back. I'm going to be throwing like 90 to 100 damage a turn on that Monkey Dory. So it's like, you know, how long are you going to keep up that fight? Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing on this deck, is its spread is so unrivaled right now. This is the best spread deck that we've seen in a while.
Absolutely. I think spread decks are cringe to play against, but You know, do your thing. If that's your archetype, you like taking 18 billion knockouts for literally free.
Yeah.
Again, shut your brain off, attack, move on.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely going to be a fun archetype to work around for sure, to play against. I think, you know, these spread decks always create very unique and very weird scenarios, so having to learn how to deal with them and adapt to them is going to be something that I personally look forward to, because I love solid matches. Even if I don't come away with the win, I just like having some fun learning something new about, you know, how the spread damage works, controlling my math a little bit better on the board, being more cognizant of who has what HP left. So I am looking forward to playing against some Marnie's Grimmsnarl for sure.
I think that's really about it. I do like the back to basics. 4 Arvin, 4 Iono, 3 research. Just
I feel like
dig
you've
through
seen a
your
lot
deck.
of that. 4 research, 3 Iono, 2 boss, 4 Arvin, 4 Iono, 3 research. Like, we're seeing a lot of like much more simplistic supporter lines, you know. And I love when formats kind of take that step back and hey, let's just dial our 1-ups back down. Let's just play 4-ofs everything and just make our deck, you know, just make it function off the minimum. I love decks like that. So yeah, no, I'm excited to see the switches happening in the format.
I think everyone really is. It's one of those moments where it's like, yeah, we're coming back to the way things used to be.
Whew. Excuse me. Yeah, no. Also too, I wanted to mention, if you're good on Grimmsnarl, this was my transition point. I wanted to bring this up mid-episode just because I thought it would be funny. So a couple weeks ago, I hopped on the Damage Counters podcast, hosted by Snipe the Bench, Shifu Stew, and Chef Husky. And it was a super fun episode. When you guys are done watching this, whether you're on Spotify, YouTube, go to their YouTube channel, pull up the Damage Counters podcast. It was a ton of fun to be on their podcast. Their podcast is awesome to listen to. There's some great people. But when I was there, they asked me mid-episode, they actually challenged the Battle VIPs to a showdown to see who are the better players between the podcasts. So it is 3 of them versus 2 of us. But I think we can make this work. Whether we draft, they said we could draft a third person or if we want, or we could just take them 2v3. So I wanted to let you know that we were challenged to see who's the better pod. And I think we can't let that slide. We stand
Absolutely
on
not. Farzard's coming right out the box, and I'm going to.
We stand on business.
So, I might have to pull out the High Dragon. I might have to do my shenanigans. Turn to Obsidian.
Well, I brought that up now because a certain Chef Husky on their team does main Monkey Dory Frostlass, right? Or Monkey Dory Frostlass Grimmsnarl, I should say right now. So I think this is the deck, speaking of learning how to prepare for it. I've been keeping a very close eye on how his list adapts, because I imagine if we're not going Chef Husky's famous let's roll a wheel and run a bunch of fun mirror matches type of tournament, you know, or like showdown, you know, if we're just bringing our go-to decks, we could expect one of these from Chef, for sure. It's either this or Uxie Spread. Like, the guy loves spread decks for zero reason. And I think this is his best deck in his pocket right now, so I would say, like, this is something you and me are going to have to prep for. And I don't even care if we say that on the pod, dog. Like, I'll tell them what deck I'm playing. I'm still going to pull them off guard with whatever I show up with to the to whatever tournament showdown match, you know, we got against the Damage Counters podcast. But, yeah. We got to take them down. We got to prove Battle VIPs are here to stay and here for good.
I'm with it.
Word. And yeah, with that being said, are you down to jump into the last part of the
I think we should.
Yeah, so it's the next segment, the last segment of the episode, Who's That Pokemon? A segment where I have now selected for Avery a clip of a Pokemon card. He's got 3 guesses and 7 questions that have to be card related to guess what Pokemon is on the card that I've selected in the standard format. I don't know if there's anything else. So with that being said, let's pull up the clip here. If we could get this to load well, and you can figure this one out.
That's the gold Chiampao, isn't it?
I knew that. I was terrified this would happen. How? Dude, what? I'm like, there's no way, dog. If you showed me that, I would be sitting there for an hour trying to figure out which gold card that was. And I was like, you know what would be funny? if I slip by Chien-Pao on you, because I was going through the other Chien-Pao arts, and I'm like, oh man, which one do I have a chance at sneaking by Avery? If you don't know, he's the biggest Chien-Pao player in the world, and I was praying that I might be able to pull a fast one, and I was like, the devastation. Like, I feel like I would put you in, like, a depressive episode if I got Chien-Pao past you. You know what I mean? Like, I think that would have been better than Ditto.
That would have been better.
Oh, man.
It was the icicle, like, type object. And then I was like, hold on for
How
a
do you
second.
know?
After I
It's
guessed...
yellow and teal. Oh, my God, dude. If you showed me any of these gold cards, I would never get it. Never. I'd need 10 guesses and still get it wrong. Like,
I was gonna say, hold on, what's gold and blue? Oh wait, I remember.
yeah.
I'm
It was
sorry,
this or Wu Chen, but I'm like, Chien-Pao would be so much funnier if it worked. I told you before the episode, you're getting this in one guess if you remember the blue and gold cards, or you're never gonna figure it out.
I would have actually probably quit Pokemon if I got this wrong.
Yeah.
That's the only deck I played for you guys here. The moment Chien-Pao came out in Excalibur, that's all I played the entire game.
For way too long. Like, the amount of times I've played against Chien-Pao is so disgusting. Because you played Chien-Pao, and one of my boys from Misericordia, my undergrad, also made Chien-Pao. So it was like, no matter what, whether I was at my locals or when I was at undergrad there or at locals back in my hometown in New York with Avery, like, I couldn't escape the damn deck. Like, ever.
And now it's gone.
Well, I mean, it's still here, just it don't function the same without Irida.
If Hilda was search your deck for an evolution and an item card, I don't care if everyone's grabbing rare candy bolts. I'm grabbing candy bags. I'm telling you to do it.
Yeah. Yep, that's fair, man. I respect it. Well, I tried. Next, I feel bad for the next time you have to pick a card, though, after this. Because I feel like every time you guess a card with no questions, I've come back with something like Ditto.
Yep,
Just,
and then it's like, all right, I'm here for an extra 30 minutes.
Pretty much. Yeah, so, yeah. I mean, is there anything else you want to jump into before we close out?
Nah, I think that's basically it. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your days, and take care.
Tune into the YouTube channel if you're on Spotify. We got some awesome series going on there. And tune on to the Spotify channel if you're on YouTube, because that is the official entire home of the podcast. And the YouTube channel is split between Draw Pass TCG and the podcast. So, you know, I don't know. Tune in somewhere. I really don't care where at this point. Just watch it somewhere.
Just watch us, yeah.
Yeah, and then watch it again on the other platform because, you know, that boost the vid. Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate y'all. With that being said, stay epic. Peace.
Peace.